We got him. The Chicago Bears have hired Ben Johnson to be their next head coach of this franchise. What's going on, guys? I'm back with another Chicago Bears news reaction video, which I'll be doing anytime the Chicago Bears news going on this offseason. And oh my goodness, guys, we actually freaking did it. And if you guys were watching on Twitter, I actually had a live stream going on during the announcement of this hiring, because my friend Nick from Just Another Year Chicago was actually at the airport where we thought Ben Johnson was landing, because a lot of people on Twitter were tracking the flight information of a flight that apparently went to Dallas and then to Chicago, and that same plane went from Chicago to Detroit and back to Chicago. So we thought that maybe that plane had Ben Johnson on it, and we still didn't get actual confirmation if he was on that plane. But as soon as that plane landed, Nick was there live streaming the whole thing. But as soon as that plane landed, we got a notification that Ben Johnson was confirmed as Chicago Bears head coach. So maybe he actually was on that plane. And regardless, that stream was freaking insane. We had 35,000 people watching that live as Nick was scrambling around the airport trying to find a view of the plane that just landed. And he got a pretty good view, but sadly we couldn't actually see anybody walk out of it. But if you guys want to watch that live stream, it's on my Twitter account, and I'll put a clip of our reaction to the news right now. Can somebody link the tweet you guys are talking about? Oh, yeah. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. We got him.
It's him?
We got him. We got Ben Johnson. Yes, sir.
Wait, what do you mean we got him?
We got him. Adam Schefter. Adam Schefter right now. We got Ben Johnson. We got him. Oh, shit.
Yeah. Oh, let's go. He's up. He's up. Ben Johnson.
So fucking back. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. We're so bad.
Let's go!
Oh my God, dude!
Hey! We signed him! We signed him! Let's go! Holy shit! Let's go! Oh my God! All right, well, we're here.
But as you guys can see, we were freaking ecstatic. I mean, this was the hire I've been wanting the Chicago Bears to make since last year. Okay, I wanted the Bears to fire Eberflus last year and hire Ben Johnson, and I thought we might not have a chance at him again, but Ben Johnson waited last year. He did not take any other head coaching offers. He had a bunch of offers. He did not take a single one, because it seems to me like he wanted to be the Chicago Bears head coach. And even this season, guys, this offseason, he did not take any second head coaching interviews with the Raiders or with the Jaguars. He wanted badly to be a Chicago Bear and to coach Caleb Williams, because this was the best job offer by far available on the market. Even if you think the McCaskies are bad owners, the opportunity to coach Caleb Williams, a young quarterback with superstar potential in a city like Chicago, a fan base like the Chicago Bears have, if you revive this franchise, the city is going to build a statue of you, okay? We are desperate. We are so hungry for a good Chicago Bears team. So I think that appealed to him a lot here, okay? He had the opportunity to go anywhere he wanted, but I think that, you know, coaching in a city like Chicago with such a diehard, passionate fan base, if you revive the Chicago Bears, you're going to go down in NFL history as a legend of this game. And the city is going to worship you if you turn around the Chicago Bears. If you even give us an above average offense, us Bears fans are going to go crazy, because we haven't seen above average offenses even for most of our lifetimes, let alone an elite offense. If he builds an elite offense in Chicago, he is going to be here for a long time. And I'm just so happy we got the top available option, the best OC, the best candidate on the marketplace to mold our young quarterback, Caleb Williams. And if our offense is good, he's not going to leave like a defensive coach would, okay? I've always wanted an offensive-minded head coach to grow with a young quarterback, like a Kyle Shanahan, like a Matt LaFleur, like a Sean McVay, like a Kevin O'Connell. I so badly wanted the Chicago Bears to have one of those coaches, and I know that Ben Johnson, he hasn't proven anything so far as a head coach, but as a pure play caller, this guy is fucking insane, okay? He's one of the best play callers in the entire NFL. His innovative offense in Detroit really utilized the skill sets of all the players. He had top 5 offenses in Detroit every single year as a play caller there, and he just does so many unique, creative things. If you guys saw even the playoff game, against the Commanders, I know they lost that game, but the Lions scored 31 points with their quarterback turning the ball over 4 times. Jared Goff had a terrible game. They still scored 31 points. They had so many unique end arounds and pitch and option plays. He's so innovative and so creative as a play caller, and just finds ways to move the football down the field. We have not had a play caller that unique, that innovative in a long time in the city of Chicago, okay, if ever, right? So this is just such a big time hire because, guys, as I mentioned, he was a top option on the marketplace by far. Everybody wanted him so badly. The Raiders were trying so hard to get him. The Jaguars also were trying so hard to get him. They were probably offering more money even than the Chicago Bears were offering. But, just this opportunity in Chicago was too good for him to pass up. And the Chicago Bears, man, got their guy to mold Caleb Williams. And I have to really commend Ryan Poles and Kevin Warren on the process here because they moved fast to get this guy. And they even did a last-second Rooney Rule interview to hire Ben Johnson as fast as possible. The Lions lost on Saturday night, so Ben Johnson became available for hire. And on Saturday night, it was announced that the Bears would be interviewing Eddie George for the head coaching spot the very next morning, but that was only to get the Rooney Rule out of the way, it seems like, right? Because the Bears had to interview one more candidate of color. They first interviewed Ron Rivera, but they had to interview one more candidate of color in person at Hallis Hall. It had to be external, so Thomas Brown did not count. So they interviewed Eddie George at the last second just to get that out of the way because they knew they wanted Ben Johnson as fast as possible. They knew they had to move fast to get him locked in Chicago because otherwise the Raiders could offer him even more money. The Jaguars maybe could get back into it. So really have to commend Kevin Warren and Ryan Poles on the process here to move as fast as possible, as fast as humanly possible. They did not even interview him a second time. They knew this was their guy for a long time, it seems like, because there was no second round of interviews for anybody. They hired Ben Johnson immediately, but that's what you got to do, guys, to get the top candidate. You don't have time to wait around and fuck around. So I'm just so happy, man. We finally have the leadership to make a big time move like this. And this is a move that could save Ryan Poles' job in Chicago. It seemed like he really wanted Ben Johnson badly, according to all the reports, and Kevin Warren also, agreed with him. And I know Ryan Poles, he's not done the best job as GM so far. He's missed on, some signings, some draft picks, but there's the opportunity to really turn around his tenure as a Chicago Bears GM if this Ben Johnson hiring works and if he, builds the trenches in Chicago, which I'll be having a lot of videos discussing Ryan Poles in the coming weeks and months, but yeah, talking specifically about Ben Johnson, guys, more in this video. Let me give you guys, an overview of who he is, where he's coached in the past and what he's done in Detroit. So Ben Johnson is 38 years old. He's pretty young. He could be head coach in Chicago for a long time, if he works out here. And if you look at his coaching history, he started out coaching in college football as a grad assistant at Boston College, then moved on to being a tight ends coach in 2011, and then he gets his first job in the NFL in 2012 as an offensive assistant, gets promoted pretty fast to assistant quarterbacks coach in 2013 through 2015, where he got another promotion to tight ends coach under Dan Campbell, who was actually the interim coach after head coach Joe Philbin was fired. So, get some work there working with Dan Campbell, and then he was actually retained by the following coach, Adam Gase, our old friend Adam Gase, in 2016. He's the assistant wide receivers coach there for 2 seasons, then gets promoted to head wide receivers coach in 2018. And then after that, he goes to the Detroit Lions in 2019 under head coach Matt Patricia to be an offensive quality control coach, gets promoted to tight ends coach in 2020. And then even though Matt Patricia gets let go, Dan Campbell retains him because Dan Campbell obviously has experience working with him with the Miami Dolphins. So he's a tight ends coach there under Dan Campbell. He gets a promotion to passing game coordinator in 2021. And then after that, he gets another promotion to offensive coordinator in 2022, where he's the OC there for 3 seasons, having some of the most success in the entire NFL. He had top 5 offenses every single year in Detroit calling the plays there. I'll read you guys the stats, but his first season in Detroit, his offense ranked 4th in yards per game, 5th in points per game, number 11 rushing attack, number 8 passing attack. The following season, his offense ranked number 3 in yards per game, number 5 in points per game, number 5 in rushing yards per game, and number 2 in passing yards per game. And then last year, 2024, his offense ranked number 2 in yards per game, number 1 in points per game, number 6 rushing attack, and number 2 passing attack. So his offenses in Detroit were very well balanced. Like they were really, really good at running the football, but also at passing concepts down the field. And that's basically what Ben Johnson's playbook is going to be here in Chicago. Okay, it's going to be a lot of running the football, pounding the rock, which is why I think we really have to upgrade in the trenches for Ben Johnson for a lot of these plays to work like they worked in Detroit. We're going to need a better offensive line, but also maybe a better running back too. Okay, I think the Bears are going to add a running back via free agency, maybe via the NFL draft, but somewhere there's probably going to be a running back acquisition too, because, Ben Johnson had David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs in Detroit, which was one of the best 1-2 combinations in the entire NFL. So far, the Chicago Bears only have DeAndre Swift and Roschon Johnson, which was a pretty bad combination last year, at least behind that bad offensive line. So I think to fully run his playbook, he's going to need better talent for sure. But Ben Johnson also is a type of guy that he's going to get the most out of what he has to work with. You guys saw in the playoff game against the Commanders, Jared Goff was not even in that game for some time due to an injury, and he came up with this crazy, reverse pitch, whatever it was, to move the ball down the field and get the ball into Jameson Williams' hands to score a big-time touchdown. And this is what he's been continually doing in Detroit, just coming up with creative, innovative plays that I honestly have never seen before. Like some of the plays he called in the Commanders game even, I had not seen them. Some of the plays he called earlier in that season, he was just doing so many things that it sometimes felt like he was playing a different sport. He was calling a different game than every other OC in the NFL. If I read you guys some more stats. So Ben Johnson's offense last year scored 33.2 points per game. He had the most 40-point games without any turnovers for his quarterback, 5 of them in franchise history for the Lions. He also had the highest points per game in Lions franchise history. The Lions had 6 games of 40-plus points and became the second team in NFL history to produce 4 different players with 1,000 scrimmage yards and the first to do it with 2 wide receivers and 2 running backs. Okay, both Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs averaged 1,000 yards from scrimmage, which is pretty damn insane. I know people are going to be worried that Ben Johnson had a great offensive line in Detroit and great playmakers, which made his job as OC easier, which is true for sure, but he was so extremely dominant with those guys. He wasn't just the 10th ranked offense or the 12th ranked offense. He was the best offense in the NFL by far last season, and I think his play calling also helped out the talent on the Lions roster. His play calling made it easier on the offensive line. It made it easier on Jared Goff. It made it easier on the receivers because guys were being schemed wide freaking open instantly. If you go back and watch the Lions film, you'll just marvel at how many guys are wide open. It seems like every play there's 2 or 3 guys that are wide freaking open for Jared Goff to throw to. And it's just the creativity with the running game too. It's so hard to defend against that because they had 2 strong backs and he really made the most out of their talents in that Lions offensive scheme. So, Ben Johnson is a guy that if you give him Rome Odunze, DJ Moore, I'm just so excited to see what he could do with those talented weapons. And Keenan Allen, if he comes back too, that could be a fantastic weapon too. Now, I do think we need a better running back or at least a complementary running back and better offensive line talent. But, even a guy like Cole Kmet could be going off under Ben Johnson because Cole Kmet in the past has been a pretty fantastic receiving tight end. I know he's not the fastest guy in the world, but Ben Johnson's offense is going to get him open in between the seams, and he's going to be a focal point in this offense because for a young quarterback especially, having that tight end as a security blanket can be a big freaking deal. And our last OC, Shane Waldron and Thomas Brown did not really utilize Cole Kmet as much as they should have. So he's just such a fantastic play caller. The last couple seasons, he's ranked as highly as Kyle Shanahan, as Sean McVay, as Andy Reid, the top offensive minds in the game. His offense has been just as good as those offenses. And in my opinion, guys, he's the most qualified candidate to be head coach since Kyle Shanahan. That's how sure I am he's going to be a good head coach. And obviously, knock on wood, knowing the Chicago Bears luck, somehow he's going to flop. But I really am a strong believer in Ben Johnson and his coaching ability. He's just done so many good things. And I just so badly wanted the Chicago Bears to get the top offensive mind available for the young quarterback for once in my lifetime. And we finally did it. It's just such a good day to be a Chicago Bears fan, guys. Caleb Williams got his guy. I'm not sure if you guys saw, but Caleb Williams actually got pranked into thinking we got Ben Johnson a couple weeks ago by some random teenage kids that got his phone number somehow, and he got all excited and was super happy. So, you already know he's going to be happy now that the news is official that Ben Johnson actually is going to be his head coach, because he understands that having that top offensive mind to mold you, to grow with you, is a great thing for your NFL career. Like, he could be Caleb's head coach for 10 plus years if everything goes according to plan. If Caleb becomes a good quarterback, like, we could see these two in Chicago for a long time, which is so freaking exciting, man. Like, finally, it's about time the Chicago Bears, the premier franchise they should be, get the top option available. They make a splashy, sexy move. It was about time they did something like that, and I'm just so damn happy it's actually real. Leave your comments down below, guys. What do you guys think about this hiring? I'm sure all Bears fans are going to be super excited, and we're going to wait to see what the rest of his staff is going to look like. It seems like, according to Adam Schefter, he's targeting Dennis Allen to be his DC. Okay, the Saints' former DC and head coach could be our next DC, which would be a slam dunk of a hire. Like, I'm a big Dennis Allen fan. As a defensive coordinator, obviously as head coach, he wasn't good, but as a DC, he was pretty fantastic, and he's already failed as a head coach before, so he wouldn't leave us. Like, if he has success as a Bears DC, he's probably not getting hired anywhere else, which is so exciting that we could have the same OC and DC here in Chicago for a long time. And we'll see what the rest of the moves are going to look like. The offensive line coach hire is going to be huge, because we know Chris Morgan and his bum ass, he was a horrible coach and did not really do anything positive in Chicago. So hopefully, Ben Johnson builds a superstar staff here, and it is just so fucking exciting that this happened, guys. Like, I can't believe it happened so fast, right after the Lions got eliminated, basically. Just 2 days later, Ben Johnson is ours, but that's how the Chicago Bears are moving in 2025, it seems like. Leave your comments down below. Welcome to Chicago, Ben Johnson. As always, bear down.